If clearing all the land for pasture causes erosion, and forestry harvesting causes slash problems, and permanent plantations causes employment problems, and all of them created the biodiversity crisis, what are truly sustainable options for land use? Returning the land to dense and diverse native forest would be the best option from an ecological perspective. It would hold the soil in place, keep the waterways clean, and be good for carbon sequestration. But where's the place for humans if we only have native ngāhere again? Would we have to go back to how our ancestors lived 500 years ago? What are the alternatives to the current situation? The situation is complicated because there are lots of different factors to weigh up. Any land use choice has impacts on jobs, returns to landowners, environmental impacts, and climate change impacts. Farming and production forests create jobs and earn money for exports, which we use to pay for imports like petrol, diesel, computers, phones, cars, trucks, tractors, medicines, and steel. If we have less farms and pine plantations producing exports from the country, we will have less money for other things that we currently rely on. Over the past 100 years, a lot of the public money has been spent on making farms and pine plantations more productive. That has been good for those industries, but we have overlooked another opportunity. Since we stopped felling native forests for timber, we have tried to protect them as conservation forests. That is important as we need to protect what remains. As the world moves on, we are realizing all the other benefits native forests can offer, especially in storing carbon, biodiversity, water quality, erosion control, flood control, cultural well-being, and health benefits. If we started putting the kind of money spent on research in agriculture and forestry into native forests, from pest control to cultivation, we could create truly sustainable new native forests that are also used for jobs and financial returns for landowners. The indigenous peoples around the world live in and with their ngāhere, managing the resources sustainably so the forest looks after them and they look after the forest. This could happen here too. Regrowing native forests won't happen by themselves. They will need a lot of help because they often grow slower than pine trees, and we don't want to be growing free lunch for deer, goats and possums. This is another opportunity for new jobs that care for native forests and carbon sinks. Instead of tarawhiti being all farms or pine plantations, we could have a patchwork of land use that has a lot less pasture and a lot more native ngāhere, but that takes a lot of commitment, policy change and financial resources. The government, iwi entities, private investors and philanthropic funders could all be investing in research and development of new industries around indigenous reforesting and rewilding. 40% of the world's medicine comes from plants. Native timber can fetch 10 times the value of pine timber. Mature native forests sequester more carbon over a long period than pine plantations. There are many opportunities, we just need to commit to developing them together. The biggest influence on land use decisions is government policy that sets the rules around carbon farming. At present, the policy favours pine plantations, so the money goes there. Small policy tweaks could easily favour native forests and the money will flow to re-establish more native ngāhere.